Welcome back to the deep dive. We're jumping into a stack of sources you've shared today, and this deep dive is all about peeling back the layers of a specific world. This one's brought to life by excerpts from Sue Grafton's H is for Homicide.
That's right. And our mission here, it's really to go beyond just, following the plot. We want to pull out those crucial nuggets, the insights, the surprising connections, and really understand what makes this particular corner of the crime genre tick, all guided by the material you've given us.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The sources kick off with our protagonist. She's a PI, a private investigator, heading back to Santa Teresa. She's been away like 3 weeks doing some consumer report thing down in San Diego, and honestly, she sounds completely wiped, just sick of hotels, wants her own bed, wakes up at 3 a.m. just needing to be home.
Yeah, the sources really paint that feeling well. It's 3:30 a.m. She checks out, gets in her 1974 VW Bug, hits the 405 North, that 5-hour drive. She does it in 4.5, just pushing to get back.
And her plan for when she gets there, so simple. Like, drop the stuff at the office, grab groceries, home, shower, sleep for 10 solid hours, dinner at Rosie's, phone off. Perfect.
Sounds ideal, except, yeah, that plan just goes right out the window.
Yeah.
The sources tell us she pulls up to her office building and bam, homicide scene. Right there in the parking lot.
Oh.
Police tape, paramedics packing up, a body under a tarp.
Yeah.
All you see are these Nikes sticking out.
Right at her workplace. And then she spots Lieutenant Dolan, someone she actually knows.
Right. And the source says, with Dolan, you just sort of, wait, you don't push him. He tells you when he's ready.
Such a sudden clash, isn't it? Her simple plans versus this violence and that homicide scene. Well, that's really our entry point, isn't it?
So while she's taking all this in, the sources also gives a window into her job. She works as an independent contractor for California Fidelity CF.
Right.
Handling pretty standard stuff, mostly arson claims, wrongful death investigations, documenting suspicious claims for the Insurance Crime Prevention Institute, the ICPI.
And she's feeling the pressure, apparently. Like, 14 claims need results pronto, especially because this VP guy, Gordon Titus, who she calls Mr. Tight-Ass in her head, is due to arrive.
Yeah, I gotta perform.
We also get this funny little detail about her friend Vera, who also works at CF. Vera helps her out with info, but is also, like, constantly critiquing her clothes.
Yeah, and the dress?
Yeah. This 6-year-old black dress, Vera claims, smells like a swamp no matter how many times it's washed, wants her to ditch it before a wedding.
It's a nice touch in the source. Shows you their relationship a bit. Vera's definitely keeping an eye on her.
Okay, so professionally, there's one case that's a real headache, Bibianna Diaz. It got flagged by a new claims rep, Mary Bellflower. Sources say she's smart, but, green.
And finding Bibianna. Problem number 1, the address they have in the file. It's just a vacant lot. The source describes it really vividly. Weeds, boulders, broken glass, palm trees, and kind of weirdly, a condom hanging off a palm frond.
Yikes. Definitely not where she's living. It's an immediate signal from the source, isn't it? This case is slippery. So she tries Mary again, but Mary just inherited the file. Doesn't know much. Spends $11 on a police report.
Same bad address.
Right. Tries calling Bibiana's work, some dry cleaner, and it's totally shut down by this guy, worried about liability, can't give out employee addresses.
Yeah, classic runaround. But she does catch a small break. She finds a payphone. Remember those? In this tiny, cluttered mini market. Real mom and pop vibe. Sawdust on the floor. Owner looks like he's seen better days. Calls Mary back and actually gets a lead, a potentially good address this time.
Okay, progress. And this whole process, the digging, it gives us insight into how she sees her job. Insurance fraud, she says. It's huge business, millions involved.
Yeah, people cheat all the time.
Yeah.
Faking losses, setting fires, padding medical bills.
Her job is to build the case for prosecution. And there's this fantastic line the source gives us about her mindset. She says she resonates with crooks, finds them more fun to investigate than honest folks.
Wow, okay. That tells you a lot, doesn't it? She's drawn to the game, the psychology of it all.
So she's got this new address, heads over there for surveillance. And the sources point out, doing surveillance alone in one car is tough.
Oh, yeah, super tricky. Got to hang back so you're not obvious, but then you risk losing them. 50-50 chance they take off.
But she spots her. Bibianna shows up, and the description is quite distinct. Red dress, dark stockings, red spiky heels, this old leather bomber jacket, petite. But the heels make her look taller, and she seems nervous, scanning the street.
She gets into a yellow cab. Our PI tails her.
And where does the cab go?
To this bar called the Meat Locker. The force calls it a low-life joint. Apparently it got shut down twice before for serving underage kids. You could feel the music thumping even from outside.
Okay, so not exactly upscale.
Not at all. And inside, surprise, she bumps into somebody she knows from way back, Jimmy Tate.
Ah, Jimmy Tate. And the sources really pause here. Give us his whole backstory.
They do. It's quite something. Started out as a juvenile delinquent at JD, then got into the LA County Sheriff's Narcotics Unit. But then, boom, indicted in a big money skimming scandal with 6 other deputies. One of them even killed himself over it.
Jeez. But Tate got off.
Eventually, yeah. Acquitted. Then he sued the department for $10 million because they cut his benefits.
And his side of the story about the skimming.
Well, according to the source, he says he was just palming cash from drug busts, calls the dealers, fucking coke dealers, human garbage. Claims he saw other guys doing it from day one, so he figured, why not? Didn't think he was really dirty, just wanted the, quote, perks.
Speedboats, condos, fancy cars.
Exactly. Said he didn't think anyone would notice. But later, he claims it was all a setup by his sergeant, this guy Rankies.
It's a messy story. Shows you the justifications people make. So back in the bar, what's the vibe between Bibianna and Tate?
They're together. Bibianna introduces the PI using her alias, Hannah Moore. And here's a key thing the source notes. Tate clearly recognizes her real name, but he plays along, keeps her cover.
Interesting. A bit of loyalty there, maybe, from a guy like him?
Seems like it. And the PI picks up on something else. Tate seems way more intense about Bibianna than his usual pattern. The source mentions his past relationships often fizzled because the women got demanding after, well, trying to service him and getting nothing back. This thing with Bibianna feels different, more serious.
Okay, so Tate's recognized her, he's intense about Bibianna, and then things go sideways, fast.
Yeah, this is where it really kicks off. A couple walks up to them in the bar. We find out later is Chago Raymond's brother and his wife, Donna.
And they're not there for drinks.
Definitely not. Gun comes out. They try to grab Bibianna, drag her out.
Chaos.
Total chaos. Tate reacts. The PI reacts. Bibianna's being pulled toward the back door. Tate just bolts out the front, PI right behind him. Then there's a chase, leads to an alley shootout. Tate starts firing at their car.
Hits it.
Oh, yeah. Takes out the back window, a tire. The car spins out, crashes into a parked van.
Right.
The source describes the shots like kernels of popcorn in a lidded saucepan.
Wow. And the couple.
They climb out of the wreck. Chago's hit, though. He's seen dragging himself away, bleeding.
And the cops show up.
Yep. Cops, coroners, deputy, Bill Blair, CSI team, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But it gets worse for our PI. She and Bibianna, they get arrested.
What?
Well, the sources say she didn't go quietly. Actually slugged one of the officers, Janowski.
Oh, boy.
And Bibianna apparently kicked him, too. So now they're both looking at battery on an officer charges.
Great. So they end up in the back of a squad car.
Right. Cold, soaking wet from the rain, handcuffed. Bibianna is just furious, spitting venom about the police. God, I hate pigs. Threatening lawsuits for brutality.
And then jail. What's that like, according to the sources?
Pretty bleak. They're in a cell with a few others. Nettie, who's pacing constantly, some skinny white woman snoring away. And then there's Heather.
Heather.
Yeah, poor kid's crying her eyes out. It's her 21st birthday. She got drunk, puked on her dress, and now she's terrified about her dad finding out he's on the city council.
Ouch. How does Bibianna react to that?
Cynical. Basically tells her to suck it up, her problems are nothing. Which then leads into Bibianna sharing her story, why she hates cops so intensely.
Ah, okay. What happened?
It's rough. Says her dad was killed by an off-duty cop, arguing over stolen food or gum or something trivial. And then her stepfather, who's abusive, got shot by a SWAT team after barricading himself inside during a burglary.
Jeez. No wonder she hates them. That's, yeah, heavy stuff.
It is. And the source suggests this shared experience, being locked up together, creates this weird kind of bond between the PI and Bibianna. Oh, and Bibianna's relieved about one thing.
What's that?
They didn't find the joint she had stashed in her bag. Small mercies, I guess.
Okay, so they're in jail. Questioning time. Lieutenant Dolan is there, and another one, Lieutenant Santos, who sounds pretty hostile towards our PI at first.
Yeah, Santos isn't happy about her hitting his officer. But this is where the police lay out the bigger picture. They explain what's really going on. The guy who got killed in the alley, Chago, he was part of a massive insurance fraud ring run by his brother, Raymond Maldonado. They call him a kingpin.
Kingpin. Okay, so this is serious. How does the ring work? The sources detail it.
Oh, yeah, in depth. They use these guys called cappers to find unemployed people with cars, get them assigned risk insurance policies, invent fake passengers, stage car accidents.
Like the bulls and cows thing.
Exactly. Where both cars involved are on the scam.
Mhm.
Then they file claims for injuries that are really hard to disprove, whiplash, back pain, you know the type. And they've got doctors, chiropractors, lawyers all working with them, getting a cut. In cahoots, as the source puts it.
Oh, it's a whole ecosystem of fraud. And Bibianna's link.
Raymond. He's her ex-fiancé. She was involved with the ring through him, but apparently left him about a year ago, moved to Santa Teresa. The sources suggest she was maybe trying to go straight until she tried this little scam of her own that got her flagged.
But the cops have a problem cracking this ring, right?
Big problem. Raymond's slippery. Evidence, especially files, keeps vanishing, which means...
Even a leak somewhere inside the police department or the sheriff's office.
Bingo. They can't nail Raymond without stopping the leak and getting those files back. Plus, they need proof he killed his own brother, Chago.
So what do?
This is the kicker. Dolan and Santos look at our PI still thinking she's Hannah Moore, remember? And they ask her to go undercover.
Go undercover. Into Raymond's crew.
Yep. Get recruited, find the leak, find the files, get the dirt on Raymond killing Chago.
But she's just a regular PI, not like deep cover trained. That sounds incredibly dangerous.
She thinks so too. Absolutely hesitant.
Yeah.
But Santos plays hardball, threatens her with jail time for the assault on Janoski, says he'll get her PI license revoked, puts the pressure on.
So she's cornered.
Pretty much. And
Okay.
despite all her reservations, the source says she's hooked. She agrees she'll do it.
Wow. What's the plan then?
Get her bailed out. Along with Bibianna the PI, uses her own bondsman, so Bibianna owes her one. They'll wire her for sound, have plainclothes cops watching her back, and set up a fake insurance policy under the Hannah Moore alias to make her look legit.
Okay. Sounds like a plan, albeit a risky one.
But then, classic snag. Bureaucracy screws up. They get released from jail early, before the wire, before the full briefing, before the backup is properly in place. They just walk out.
Oh no. And who's waiting for them?
You guessed it. Raymond Maldonado.
Ugh.
Right there outside the jail. Bibianna's absolutely terrified.
I bet. And our PI, she's just got to roll with it, right? Keep the cover.
Exactly. Has to play along. So they go back to Raymond's apartment, and the sources describe this place as just chaos. Papers piled everywhere. Old food smells like cilantro and lard. Halloween decorations still up, even though it's not Halloween.
Sounds charming. Who else is there?
There's Lewis, who seems to be Raymond's main associate,
Mm-hmm.
and a pit bull named Perot, who can be friendly one minute and scary the next.
So she's right in the middle of it now, seeing the operation firsthand.
Yep. Sees guys literally filling out fake insurance forms, misspelling things like whiplash and bruises.
Bruises. Okay.
And she gets a real close look at Raymond himself. The sources paint him as deeply unstable. Mood swings, explosive temper. He hits the dog. Even cuts one of the guys, Tomas, with a knife at one point.
Whoa.
He's got these physical tics too, twitching, jerking. Seems like he's using drugs. The source mentions him shooting up after taking showers. And is completely obsessed with controlling Bibianna, even while trying to act nice.
Sounds like a walking time bomb. And is she just watching, or does she have to get involved in the scams?
She has to get involved. The sources say she goes on 4 drive-downs to L.A. with Raymond and Lewis. They're doing these staged accidents, the swoop and squat.
Right, explain that again.
So you have the squat car in front of the target vehicle. It brakes suddenly. At the same time, the swoop car cuts in front of the squat car, forcing the target car to rear-end the squat car. Makes it look like the target driver's fault.
Got it. Clever. In a criminal sort of way, does Raymond talk about the business side?
Yeah, he explains. He's the money guy, the bankroller. Says he clears about $1,000 per case. Doctors and lawyers make more, like $1,500 plus their cut. And his charming business philosophy. Be careful of the guy right below you. Don't tell him jack shit. Doesn't even trust Lewis completely.
Paranoid. Does she get any leads on the leak while she's there?
Possibly. One trip, Raymond stops at an office building in Beverly Hills, parks in a handicapped spot, gets a ticket. He grabs it, but she sees the stamp on it, a law firm name. Gottlieb, Naples, Hurley, and Flushing.
Gottlieb, Naples, Hurley, and Flushing. She memorizes it.
Yep. Plans to pass it on to Dolan. Could be something.
Amidst all this danger and grime, the source mentions a slightly different moment.
Yeah. Kind of unexpected. Bibianna reads the PI's palm one evening, tells her things based on her hand shape, says she likes action, thinks for herself. A little bit of human connection there, strangely enough.
Okay, the tension must be unbearable. Then comes Chago's funeral viewing.
Right. They go to the funeral home. Raymond is apparently a mess, really distraught. And he does something weird. He puts some kind of bundle, contents unknown, into Chago's coffin.
Huh. Strange. What happens back at the apartment?
things feel even more dangerous. Luis isn't there, and Bibianna has a fresh Band-Aid on her arm,
Uh-oh. Suggesting?
suggesting she might have used drugs, maybe with Tate, who seems to be back in the picture somehow. The PI realizes she's basically trapped alone with Raymond, and he's getting more erratic.
She needs an equalizer.
She finds one. The source says she remembers seeing Raymond stash stuff in a drawer. She checks it, finds IDs and a gun, a Sig Sauer. She takes it, just in case.
Smart move. Does Bibianna get out?
Yeah, Bibianna wants out, desperately. The PI helps her, creates a diversion. I think she throws car keys, and Bibianna makes a run for it, escapes.
So Raymond catches the PI?
He tackles her, yeah. Stops her from leaving, too.
Then what? This sounds bad.
It gets worse. He forces her and the dog Perot into a car, points the gun right at her. And the description of Raymond here is terrifying, bare-chested, barefoot, hair damp, and his tics are going wild. Twitching, jerking, his whole body jumping, like he could accidentally shoot her at any second.
Oh my God.
Luis eventually shows up in another car, one from the funeral home, weirdly. But before they go anywhere back at the apartment, Donna Chago's wife shows up.
And she blows the PI's cover.
Completely. Donna tells Raymond it was Tate who killed Chago in that alley shootout. The PI tries to lie, fast, says Tate was her date that night at the meat locker, not Bibianna's.
Does Raymond buy it?
Not for a second. Calls her a liar. Cover blown.
So how does she figure out the leak? The sources say she pieces it together at the hospital. Bibianna ends up there.
Yeah, Bibianna gets run off the road, ends up in the hospital. While visiting, the PI sees someone, a woman she recognizes from a photo album belonging to Dr. Howard, the chiropractor involved in the scam.
And this woman is?
The unhelpful clerk from the sheriff's department. The one who wouldn't give her info earlier.
No way. So Dr. Howard's daughter is the leak.
That's the connection she makes.
Yeah.
The daughter feeds info from the sheriff's office to her dad, the chiropractor, who passes it straight to Raymond. That's how he knew Bibianna was in Santa Teresa, how he knew she'd been arrested. It all clicks.
Wow. Does she tell the cops?
She ducks into a hospital restroom and calls Dolan right away to confirm her suspicion.
Okay, so the leak is identified, but Raymond is still loose. And now he knows she's not who she says she is. The final showdown happens at the hospital.
Right there. Raymond overhears a doctor, Dr. Cherbak, talking to Bibianna and mentioning her husband.
And Raymond assumes.
He flips out, realizes it must be Tate. He's enraged.
And then he sees Tate.
Spots him across the way. Pulls his gun, shoots Tate.
Oh my God. Does he kill him?
Source doesn't explicitly say killed, but he shoots him. Then Raymond makes a run for it.
But the PI has her gun now.
Yep, the Sig Sauer she took. It was in her handbag, which somehow ended up at the hospital. She grabs it and goes after him. Chases him through the hospital, downstairs, out into the grounds.
The final chase.
Yeah, across the lawns. Raymond's exhausted. His tics are really bad now. She manages to catch up, pushes him. He stumbles and falls.
And she gets him.
She gets him, holds him there at gunpoint. The source mentions she feels this incredible surge of rage. But Raymond, he just gives up, surrenders. End of the line for him.
Wow. What a ride those sources took us on. I mean, starts with her just wanting to get home, sleep, and bang, homicide.
Instantly disrupted.
Yeah.
Then investigating the fraud, the frustration, finding Bibianna.
Plunging undercover into that really dangerous world with Raymond. The scams, the violence.
Uncovering the leak inside the sheriff's department, the shootouts, ending up in jail herself.
And finally, that chase through the hospital and capturing the kingpin. It's intense.
Absolutely. And it was digging into your source material, those excerpts, that let us really unpack all those layers, understand the connections, the motivations, the sheer risk involved.
Yeah, you really get a sense of the whole web. So hopefully you listening feel like you've got the key insights now, the surprising turns, and a real handle on this specific world and the people in it, all drawn from the sources provided for this deep dive.
And it really leaves you thinking, doesn't it, about how systems that are supposed to protect us, insurance, law enforcement, can sometimes get so twisted, they become tools for the very people they're meant to stop.
That's a great point. And maybe thinking about what it takes for one person, relying on their own smarts and grit, maybe even bending the rules herself to navigate that kind of corruption. How do you find your own way to justice or truth when the system itself is compromised? Something definitely worth mulling over.